Most religious beliefs are not factual beliefs, but credences. Hey everybody, I'm Dan McClellan. I'm a scholar of the Bible and religion. And a credence is a statement or a proposition that one signs on to so that they can display fidelity and belonging to the in-group so that they can then access the resources of that in-group. And then that proposition functions as costly signaling and a credibility-enhancing display. In other words, showing that you're willing to incur whatever costs may be associated with that proposition is a way to show other members of the group that you belong, that you are faithful to their ideals and their standards. And then you can also be more emphatic about your acceptance of a credence in order to ratchet up the costs in order to increase your standing, to say, I'm even more faithful. It is, in short, praying on the street corner to be seen of men when people are more emphatic in public about their acceptance of that belief. And here's just one example from Twitter. In response to this tweet pointing to fundamental logical problems with the flood, this person doesn't engage those concerns but just declares, I am unashamed to state I 100% believe the earth is 6,000 years old, and I believe the flood happened just as Genesis reports. This is a way to put on public display how this individual is willing to sign on to this credence even in the face of these concerns that they are simply not going to address. One way to demonstrate that something is a credence and not a factual belief is to see if the subconscious mind defaults to a different understanding in different contexts. And Justin Barrett showed this with his famous set of experiments related to theological correctness, where he had participants read short stories about God and a supercomputer and Superman, waited for a while, and then asked them to answer questions about the details of the story. And overwhelmingly, the people recalled details about the story about God in ways that anthropomorphized God, that conceptualized God as not omniscient, not omnipresent, and not omnipotent. And then Barrett repeated the experiments with other participants, but before he shared the stories, he had them fill out a questionnaire about their theological beliefs about God. And then right before asking the questions, he reminded them about their answers, about their theological beliefs about God. And then the anthropomorphizing went way down. Why? Because they were now in a context where they were thinking about theologically correct beliefs about God. And so they curated how they thought about God because they were in a context where they needed to. If you'd like a great discussion of how this works, there's a wonderful paper published in the journal Cognition called Religious Credence is Not Factual Belief that goes into a lot more detail. And from the abstract, I just want to point out factual beliefs, 1, are practical setting independent, 2, cognitively govern other attitudes, and 3, are evidentially vulnerable. By way of contrast, religious credences, A, have perceived normative orientation, B, are susceptible to free elaboration, and C, are vulnerable to special authority.